Bible them make ten for nothing. We all are mortal man and we get for life. So let we left Congo Sahel and for bad that we come. Small days if we sabi wasan, we go eat na big man dey pan. For catch big man and I can down. No today, all thing done. Now the tomorrow way you go get after, now where you big man and you get. So let we left Congo Sahel and for bad that we come in them.
I am and I will. I am Isatta Sisay-Jalloh from the Health Show Partnership Program. It's World Cancer Day on February the 4th, 2020. So what are we going to do about it? I am a wife, mother, and a sister. I am a nurse with a special interest in cancer and palliative care. And I am a game changer. So join us on Saturday, the 7th of March for the second annual cancer conference. There will be speakers talking about prostate, breast and cervical cancer, myth busting and looking at cancer from a traditional and religious perspective. You would walk away saying, I will get smarter, I will get screened, I will eat healthily, and I will create change. So, let's work towards a brighter and healthier future. I am and I will.
The changes continue. The innovations continue. As Female in Sierra Leone, United Kingdom and Ireland branch presents Launching and Remembrance Day on Saturday, 14th March 2020 from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Denmark Hill Community Centre, Blanchdown, London, SE5 8HL. This auspicious event will honor and remember rebel war victims, Ebola victims, victims of flooding, mudslide victims, victims of violence, and victims of knife crime. So, do come and be part of a worthy cause. The Female in Sierra Leone UK Launching and Remembrance Day, Saturday 14th March 2020 from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Denmark Hill Community Centre, Blanchdown, London, SE5 8HL. Female in Sierra Leone, United Kingdom and Ireland branch. Indeed, Sierra Leone will rise again.
If you're having credit problems, I feel bad for you, son. 1,000 problems, but I can't rank one. Wills for sure, got me back in the car. Leasing with my credit, I was like, man, forget it. Who would've thought I'd be accepted and more? But now I got the keys, I feel so pleased. All types of cars, Fiats, Minis, Renaults, you know, boom, boom, let's go. Wills for sure, car leasing for every credit score.
So Nikki, you're a winner.
Yeah, I've won 3 times now.
Wow, is that all through Lifestyle Bids, right?
That's right. So first I won the Music Awards, which was in London. Then I won the boxing match, which was in Cardiff. All I had to do was bid 83 pence for that. And then the music festival, which was in California.
And the private jet?
Yeah, made me 3 mates on that too.
So I think it's definitely safe to say that Lifestyle Bids works for you.
Oh yeah, Lifestyle Bids definitely works for me.
So don't just dream it, bid it. Go to lifestylebids.com and let the adventure begin.
If you're having credit problems, I feel bad for you, son. 1,000 problems, but I can't rank one. Wills for sure, got me back in the car. Leasing with my credit, I was like, man, forget it. Who would've thought I'd be accepted and more? But now I got the keys, I feel so pleased. All types of cars, Fiats, Minis, Renaults, you know, boom, boom, let's go. Wills for sure, car leasing for every credit score.
If you want success, you know easy, yeah. You get for work from 7 to 5. Just forget your daily bread, just to make you survive. Life, yeah, life, yeah. If you want success, you know easy, yeah. You get for work from 7 to 5. Just forget your daily bread, just to make you survive. I open it, 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 I open it. There are funny things about life. Your huggy should be sharper than knife. Believe in yourself and nature will provide. Cause once I go this off I must survive. There are funny things about life. Your huggy should be sharper than knife. Believe in yourself and nature will provide. Cause once I go this off I must survive. Respect my hustle. Hey, my hustle. I go respect your hustle. My hustle. Life, yeah, life, yeah. If you want success, you know easy, yeah. You get for work from 7 to 5. Just forget your daily bread, just to make you survive. Life, yeah, life, yeah. If you want success, you know easy, yeah. You get for work from 7 to 5. Just forget your daily bread, just to make you survive. Ta open it, 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 ta open it. Life, yeah. Up money, life, yeah. Life not easy at all, oh, yeah. Mama the vex, Papa they push up money. Respect my hustle, hey, my hustle. I go respect your hustle, my hustle. hustle. Life, yeah, life, yeah. If you want success, it's not easy, yeah. You get for work from 7 to 5, just forget your daily bread, just to make you survive. Life, yeah, life, yeah. If you want success, it's not easy, yeah. You get for work from 7 to 5, just forget your daily bread, just to make you survive. Ta open it, ta open it, ta open it, oh, ta open it, ta open it, ta open it, ta open it, oh, ta open it.
So Nikki, you're a winner.
Yeah, I've won 3 times now.
Wow, is that all through Lifestyle Bids, right?
That's right. So first I won the Music Awards, which was in London. Then I won the boxing match, which was in Cardiff. All you had to do was bid 83 pence for that. And then the music festival, which was in California.
And the private jet?
Yeah, made me 3 mates on that too.
So I think it's definitely safe to say that Lifestyle Bids works for you.
Oh yeah, lifestyle bids definitely works for me.
So don't just dream it, bid it. Go to
I wake up now morning and I give you the praise. The thing where you do for me, they make me so amazed. You make me the woman I never dreamt to be. You have broken all the barriers, even though they think it's me. I have grown to be stronger, I have grown to be me. I have grown to be grateful, I have grown to be free. I have grown to be stronger, I have found the peace in me. I'm broken all the barriers, even though they think it's me. Nah, 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 Papa, God bless me, yeah. I tell God thank you for whose I don't reach today. No shoes but I go school and I always keep the faith. You can overcome, make it possible if you believe in it. You can grow to be stronger, you can grow to be wise. You can grow to be bold, you can grow to higher heights. You can grow to be stronger, you can find the peace within you. You can overcome the impossible if you believe in it. Nah, you, nah, you, nah, you, yeah, yeah. Nah, you, oh, oh, nah, you, nah, you. Papa, God bless me, yeah. From bed to early, now I dey pile no shoes. Mama be the trapper when I come, no food. I dey talk to my kids, tell I know the shame, old school. Look me to the Uda who say I no good. For pen bless, the streets of party man no lose. The faith make a waka nowadays I dey cruise. I dey cruise, I dey cruise. The faith make a waka nowadays I dey cruise. You can grow to be stronger, you can find the peace within you. You can overcome the impossible if you believe it. Nah, you, nah, you, nah, you. Yeah, yeah. Nah, you, oh, oh. Nah, you, nah, you. Papa, God bless me, yeah. Nah, you, nah, you, nah, you. Yeah, yeah. Nah, you, oh, oh. Nah, you, nah, you. Papa, God bless me, yeah.
If you're having credit problems, I feel bad for you, son. 1,000 problems, but a car rank 1. Wheels for sure, got me back in the car. Leasing with my credit, I was like, oh man, forget it. Who would've thought I'd be accepted and more? But now I got the keys, I feel so pleased. All types of cars, Fiats, Minis, Renaults, you know, boom, boom, let's go. Wheels for sure, car leasing for every credit score.
So Nikki, you're a winner.
Yeah, I've won 3 times now.
Wow, is that all through Lifestyle Bids, right?
That's right. So first I won the Music Awards, which was in London. Then I won the boxing match, which was in Cardiff. All they had to do was bid 83 pence for that. And then the music festival, which was in California.
And the private jet?
Yeah, made me 3 mates on that too.
So I think it's definitely safe to say that Lifestyle Bids works for you.
Oh yeah, Lifestyle Bids definitely works for me.
So don't just dream it, bid it. Go to lifestylebids.com and let the adventure begin.
Salomon, if we want make Salon, we for change the attitude. Salomon, if we want make Salon, we for change the attitude. Na for nothing, we all are mortal man and we get for life. So let we left Congo Sahel and for bad that we come it's for the day. So if we sabi wasan, we go eat na big man the pan. For catch big man and I can down. No today, all thing done. Tomorrow where you go get after, now where you big man and you get so let we left Congo Sahel and for bad that we come in there.
If you're having credit problems, I feel bad for you, son. 1,000 problems, but a car rank 1. Wheels for sure, got me back in the car. Leasing with my credit, I was like, oh man, forget it. Who would've thought I'd be accepted and more? But now I got the keys, I feel so pleased. All types of cars, Fiats, Minis, Renaults, you know, boom, boom, let's go. Wheels for sure, car leasing for every credit score.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, mama, papa, brother, sister, uncle, auntie, everybody, good evening. Good evening, Mrs. Balamasi. Good evening, Felicity. Good evening, IBB Banks. Good evening, my very own senior brother, officer in charge, Sarah Gem Media's DJ Ish. Good evening to all those who are watching that we don't know are watching. Welcome. This is Isatta Sisay-Jalloh on the Health Show on the very well-known Diaspora Voices. Welcome you again this wonderful Thursday evening. Bitterly cold day, so please make sure you're keeping warm. Make sure your house is warm. Make sure you dress warm because it's bitterly cold. Don't be fooled by this Indian summer, we call it. It's quite cold. I think the winter is saying goodbye to us. Just a little note, the coronavirus is still lingering around. It's actually not getting any better in so many ways. It's getting worse. It's finding its way across Europe. So be mindful, be careful. The most important thing is hand hygiene, hand washing, and do not go where you're not supposed to go. And if you feel unwell, just self-quarantine yourself. And if you're in the UK, call 111 or your local emergency number. They will come and meet you. Don't go to the hospital. It's very important. That's just a little health notice. So please, welcome. Now, today we are talking about one of my series in terms of put your house in order. Put your house in order. For those of you who've been watching this show for a very long time, you know from time to time we go through this series where we talk about things we can put in place in order not just to protect ourselves but protect our loved ones and our family and friends. So today, part of that series, as we break into this new year 2020, we're heading into the 3rd month of the year. We would be talking about protection. How do we protect ourselves from death? How do we protect ourselves from critical illness? How do we protect ourselves from accident and many other things? We cannot avoid death. That's reality. Whether we like it or not, it's the only certainty in life. But we can put things in place that would ensure when we do die, our loved ones, so much so whilst they're going through that grief, they are not overburdened and overwhelmed by other issues that they don't need to be overwhelmed by. So that is why we're here today, to talk about those things. I know I talk about it a lot. I know I talk about it on and on with my big mouth and everything. And the fact that, you know, we have 4 generations in the diaspora now. I keep saying, we've got grandparents, we've got parents, we've got children, we've got grandchildren. So when you've got a cluster of such in a community, things are bound to happen. People are bound to die. People are bound to get ill. People are bound to have accidents. People are bound to lose their job. So what do we do about it? We are not preempting some of these things by protecting ourselves. We're just making allowances in case. We salon people that say, if Creole man say, do the keep stick behind the mouth. You don't know when your neighbor fall the neighbor dog the crease. So if you get your stick where carry the whap up, you know, or waiting at the other thing where they say produce eniola or whatever. So it's those kind of things we're talking about today. How do you protect yourself and what do you do? I am not an expert in that. I am a healthcare professional. I am not a financial advisor, neither am I into insurance and so on and so forth. That is why today I have brought you an expert who I'm going to give the honor to introduce herself. But before I ask her to introduce herself, I'm going to tell you how I met this lady. This lady is, you know, I thought I was stubborn. This lady is one of the most stubborn women I've come across. When they say, when you're ambitious and you're determined and you know what you want and what you're doing and you're passionate about it, you don't give up that easily. And that's what this lady did to me. We met at a function last year, November. We met at this function. The first thing, you know, the first line she used, I like, oh, you look very beautiful. Now, we all know in our community, we take such compliments from the opposite sex. We are not used to taking such compliments from our own sex. So I was like, oh, you know, but I was actually I was a co-MC at this event. So I was, you know, I had to behave myself and be a bit more polite and courteous. So I said, oh, thank you very much. I said, then I started racking my brain thinking, where do I know this lady? I don't know her. And besides, she's not a Sierra Leonean because this was a massive, big Sierra Leonean event. And I'm thinking, she's a foreigner, as in not from Sierra Leone. I said, so then we started talking and then she introduced herself. She was so forthcoming. She was like, this is me. This is what I do. I'm like, And she said, I've heard about what you do. And I'm like, okay. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, hey, this is getting more and more interesting. And then we exchanged. She gave me her business card. I gave her my number. But as usual, I didn't even save her number, confession. I didn't even save her number. And then then she started calling me. She would call me and then I'll be, oh yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm a bit busy. Can you call me? So. She said, okay. And then she would give me a breathing space. And then she would call me again. And then I said, oh no, you know what? I'm very busy. I'm planning on going to Sierra Leone. So I've got so much to do, you know, with the family. She said, yeah, I know. Don't worry. We'll catch up in the new year. You know, I'm like, okay. And then the new year came. She called me again. It was like, I'm like, oh my God, you know. So, I mean, just because of that, I thought, you know what? I love this woman. I like people like this because this is what we have to do. When you want something or you're doing something, you have to be determined and be ambitious about it and be vivacious about it. It's very, very important because otherwise, sometimes people in our busy lives, people don't see the seriousness or they don't appreciate the seriousness of what you're doing. So she is you know, well done. It paid off, didn't it?
Definitely.
It did pay off. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna let her introduce herself. So please welcome our lovely
Felicity Okolo. My name is Felicity Okolo. Thank you for inviting me here. And thank you everybody for watching. And we hope you have an open mind to gain value from what I'm about to share with you today.
Yes.
If you have any questions, do feel free to send your questions. Once I couldn't answer, or probably for some reason I couldn't answer on air, I can speak with you. You have my number displayed on the screen and my email address as well.
Oh, thank you. So, first thing first, obviously we're going to be talking about life insurance and stuff. And like I said today in my caption, I said, life can be going on fairly smoothly. However, things can change very quickly. And what have you got in place when it does change, if it does change? So these are the big questions we need to ask ourselves. And for that, we have Felicity here, we're going to talk through different types of things you can put in place to make sure when and if life changes and it's not in your favor, then what is in place to protect you, to support you and your family and your loved ones. Because the reality is, people believe in so many different things. They believe, oh, I'm not gonna die. Everybody thinks they're not dying. It's the next person that is dying. The neighbor is dying. Oh, I'm not gonna be ill. It's the next person that is gonna be ill. But guess what? You can be fine today and tomorrow you're not. What makes you different from that person who is fine today and tomorrow they are not and lose their job, and you who is fine today but not tomorrow and you die? What makes it different? What changes for your family? How can they cope? How can you cope when your life changes? What are some of the things that would help you to cope? You know, so that is what we're going to go through. So Felicity, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Fantastic. I'm a protection advisor. I work for a company, a financial company. Our main product is insurance. And I will say to you, our company is regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, that's the FCA, which means that whatever we do, we're covered by the financial rules in the UK. That is, we're responsible, basically. You can hold us accountable for any, if you think we've given you wrong information or incorrect information or incorrect advice. We have to make sure everything we do is by the law, by the books, basically. We are a broker company. We have different providers. The providers we use for insurance products are well-known household names in the UK. A lot of them are over 100 years old.
Wow.
I'm not allowed to mention the names here, but when you call me, we can speak more. I can tell you more about the names of these companies that we use.
Oh, cool.
So, jumping right into you mentioned life insurance, I'll say to people, when I present in churches or mosques, community groups, associations, clubs, all boys or all girls clubs and stuff like that, when I begin to ask people, how many people cross the road before coming to this place today?
Yes.
And they will put up their hands. You cross the road, some kind of road you have to cross to get here.
Yes.
When you cross the road, did you look both ways? Right, left and right, did you look both ways? Did you look both ways to cross the road today?
Yes, I did. I had to.
Why did you have to do that?
To make sure I'm safe. To make sure it's safe for me to cross.
Why I ask the question? Because many people believe that God or Allah will look after them. That God or Allah is their insurance. And I ask this question, if God or Allah is your insurance, why did you look both ways?
Yes.
Then they answer, for their safety.
For their safety.
But I said, if God or Allah really looks after you, you don't need safety. You don't need to look, just walk into the road.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to do that because God or Allah did not make a foolish person.
No.
He made you to his image and likeness, so you are wise. You know what to do, the right thing to do. Walking and looking before walking to the road is kind of your insurance, because sometimes in life you would put things in place, but things still do happen. So when you look, sometimes You're about to cross the road, or you drive. If you're driving, you've looked both ways, you haven't seen anything coming. What about if the other driver hasn't seen you? Sometimes things do happen.
All the cyclists these days.
And that is when God or Allah carries you, protects you, because you've done your bit by looking. And also, I'll ask the question, anyone here with children? Have you had children? You remember when you were pregnant? You buy baby stuff, isn't it?
Yes.
You buy baby couch, the clothes, everything. You're preparing for this child to come into the world.
Yes.
So I tell people, once the baby arrives, what you should do is plan for your exit. That simply means that you're bringing this child into the world. They didn't beg to be born. And there is no way of you knowing when you are going to leave this child. When you're going to die, that's what I mean.
Yes.
So because you don't know when you're going to die, you must put something in place for this child, because as you're prepared for them to come, it's not wise for you to leave
without preparedness,
without preparing for them to be looked after. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we do that? Definitely, I say to people, if you have someone dependent on you on money, like your children or your old elderly relatives like parents, or some people have siblings who rely on them for money. If you have people relying on you for money, financially, any support, then you need life insurance. Life insurance pays out in several ways. Standalone life insurance pays a lump sum of money, or it pays what they call family income benefit, where it pays like a monthly sum, depending on how much you've insured for.
Okay.
So a lump sum, and also pays linked to the mortgage. So let me deal with standalone life insurance first.
Yes.
Standalone life insurance is a lump sum amount of money that if you insure yourself, example, £100,000.
Okay.
It has a term, maybe for 25 years or 30 years or even longer, depending on how the need has arisen. Now, if the person was to die within that term, let's go for 30 years. If the person was to die within that 30-year period, that 100,000 lump sum will be paid to the beneficiaries of that person.
Okay.
Now, if you have one of those structured as family income benefit that is paid monthly or quarterly, that is how it's going to be paid. Excuse me.
Okay.
Now, if you have one linked to your mortgage, say you have a mortgage, 25 or 30-year term mortgage, you have life insurance linked to your mortgage, it's normally decreasing mortgage. If your mortgage is repayment mortgage, that decreases.
Okay.
So your mortgage is decreasing, life policy as well, the amount is decreasing.
Okay.
So if the person was to die within that term of the mortgage, whatever is left of the mortgage, the life insurance will be used to pay off that mortgage.
Okay.
That way, because mortgage or rent is one of the largest outgoings of a family.
Yes.
So basically, if that is paid off, it takes a huge burden of the family or dependent on that person, because there's been a number of cases where people have had huge mortgages, even small mortgage, it doesn't matter how big sometimes, but because it's a lot, they passed away, there's nothing in place, and it's caused a lot of misery, pain.
And distress.
Stress. Sometimes the properties have been repossessed.
Yes.
So you've had families who have been made comfortable from a 4-bedroom or 5-bedroom, 5-bedroom big house to a council accommodation or to a hostel, because the head of the family, did not see it as important to put life policy in place.
Okay.
I'm saying this specifically, a lot of our people from our culture.
Yes.
We like to think differently, like you said earlier.
Yes.
We won't die. Sometimes I find people want to go to heaven. They don't want to die. I'm asking, do you have a different strategy?
Exactly. Do you have a different strategy?
I'm going to
heaven without dying. If everybody's like, God, please let me go to heaven, but then when you say to them, let's talk about and prepare for death, they're like, no, come to me.
Because
I don't want to talk about
if you have a different strategy of going without dying, I'd like to know. Definitely, I'd like to know. So that, because we're all going to die, we don't know when. Talking about death is not a bad thing. What I did after Christmas, I put a new kind of insurance in place for myself on critical illness. After on Boxing Day, I called my children together. I said to them, this is my new life insurance and critical illness policy. You know what to do. If you need it, this is the phone number of the company, this is the documents, this is the policy numbers, this is everything. And because I've raised them to know that we're all going to go someday, they just said, okay, Mom, we've heard,
Yeah, it's the same with me. Because of my job that I do, death, the word death does not sound strange in my household, because they constantly hear me talking about death and dying, ill health and all of that. So, when I did my life insurance, which I've had for such a long time, I had my son, who is older, he's now 16 plus, he knows that I have. So he was actually asking me, Mom, why do you have a life insurance? What happens to it and everything? So we have those conversations. So they know and understand about, what could happen, and if it happens, what to do and what is available. Nobody is wishing and hoping to die at an early and tender age, but that is inevitable. We don't know when and how. So I just wanted to take you back to this life insurance, Felicity. You talked about 3 different types of life insurance. You talked about the one where they give you a one-off payment, a lump sum, and then you talked about the family income benefit, and then you talked about the one that is linked to the mortgage. So if we go back, when you're taking out this insurance, is that when you specify what you want to do, or will that be specified in your will?
Definitely. Like when I come to you, I have to first of all ask you a series of questions.
Okay.
About you, your work, your family, get to understand your needs. After that, then I know what is best for you, basically. If you have a mortgage and you have a repayment mortgage, that you don't have a policy to cover that, definitely I'm going to recommend decreasing mortgage.
Okay.
Linked life policy for you.
Okay.
And also critical illness, which we'll talk about later as well.
Okay.
We'll have to discuss that. So if you have a mortgage that is not decreasing, it will be a level term policy I have to do for you, because the mortgage does not decrease. You only pay interest. You understand?
Yes.
Maybe mortgage £200,000 and it doesn't decrease. The amount is fixed for the 30 or 25-year period. Because
you're only, it's an interest.
It's interest only mortgage.
Interest only mortgage.
So if the person was to die within that period, or also life policy does not only pay upon dying or upon death of the policyholder, it pays if the policyholder is diagnosed with terminal illness.
Okay.
Where doctors said they've got 12 months or less to live, then it will still pay.
Okay, you'll be able to cash it out.
Yes.
Or they will pay the mortgage.
They'll pay the mortgage or pay the standalone policy if it's a standalone policy, or the income benefit, things like that kick in. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then
so you asked this question about when do you get to know. So now again, if people who want a lump sum amount paid, or you don't have a mortgage, then I'm going to ask you, your family, are they wise, with money? Yeah, okay, they're wise with money, then you feel that they will use the lump sum wisely when you pay a lump sum to them.
Okay.
Then fine, I recommend the lump sum. If not, if you think that they might misuse the money, then we'll probably recommend family income benefit.
Okay.
That way the money will last longer. Because there's been instances where people have gotten lump sum and haven't used it wisely.
Yes.
The whole idea of life policy, because you have a lifestyle you've created for the children while you're alive. That money should be able to help them continue with that lifestyle when you're no longer there.
Yeah. Okay.
Up to their financially independent, of course.
Yes.
So that they can actually go to university, college, or private school, continue with their education like you planned for them, and not miss the finances you bring in. They will miss you, but more so the financial burden will no longer be won't be there.
Will be there. Yes, the focus will be on missing you, rather than 1 minute they're missing you, 1 minute they're stressing about, oh, where am I gonna get money to pay the rent today, etc., or and all of that. So I think that's very, very important. I hope that's clear to our listeners. We're just talking, for those just joining us, we're just talking about life insurance, And when you do take out your life insurance, depending on your needs, then it's determined whether when you do get your payment, whether it's a lump sum payment or whether it's a family income benefit. For most of us who still have young adults or young children, it's probably better the family income benefit, because you know at every given time, whether it's monthly or 3 monthly, quarterly, a certain amount of money comes into the account, and whoever is looking after them, who you've appointed as their legal guardianship and all of that, which will be another program, that will be the next bit of the series of the put your house in order. Because all of these things, when you have underage children and you're a single parent, you need to think about guardianship. Who do you trust when you're taking this life insurance and you've got a 10-year-old and then you die? Who do you trust to not only take care of your child, but to ensure that your child benefits directly from that money that you've left behind? Who do you trust? So that will be the second aspect of Put Your House in Order in next month. So then of course we've got the life insurance that they link to your mortgage. The one question I wanted to ask, Felicity, with this one that is linked to your mortgage, what if the mortgage, for people who are couples or partners or friends who've decided to take a mortgage together because they've been best friends and they live together and it's cost effective, they've decided to take a mortgage together. What happens if one of them, the person who has the life insurance, dies? What happens? Does it get paid all, or do they pay their percentage? That's this bit I always want to find out.
Okay, example, if you have a husband, you have a mortgage, okay? And the mortgage is in both names?
Yes.
Normally, I would structure it in such a way that the mortgage will pay up upon first death. That is the best way to do it.
Okay.
If you say second death, then it's a huge issue. So it's best to do it when one of the parties dies.
Okay.
The mortgage will pay it off.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to do it, or that's the best way I recommend to have it done.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Good to know. So that's what we've just talked about, life insurance. Is there any more you need to add on to life insurance?
Well, I can give a lot of testimonials or case studies later about those who were clever and those who were not clever, having these policies in place. Let's go to the next topic. We come back. When we have come back, then we can talk more about different case studies for different products.
Absolutely. Because remember, with life insurance, the one-off payment, it could actually be cashed out even before you die, as long as you've been diagnosed of a life-limiting illness,
terminal illness.
They will cash it out. The same way with your pension. If you've saved private pension with any private company, or for example in the UK, the NHS, that will be cashed out. So it's very important to know those things. Now we're gonna move on to critical illness. Now we know nobody wants to die, but they want to go to heaven. However, let's park that and then let's talk about critical illness. What happens with critical illness cover? What is it about?
Well, critical illness cover or insurance is kind of insurance that gets paid if you have that policy in place and you were to be diagnosed with critical illness.
Okay.
Critical illness are things like cancer, certain forms of cancer, certain stages, depending on the provider you're dealing with and their specification under the terms and conditions. Stroke, kidney, liver problems or damage, heart conditions, or heart attack, fibromyalgia, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all of this, a lot more. Some have gone up to 30 different kind of critical illness conditions. That some people have policies and want to claim for minor illness. It won't work. It has to be a critical illness as specified under the terms and conditions of the provider.
Yes. So it's always good before you take on a critical illness cover, go through what the provider covers under that critical illness, isn't it? It's simple thing like you just mentioned, some types of cancer. The reason why it's some types of cancer, like I always say, it is not every cancer that kills. There's lots of cancers that are curable and treatable. So for example, you have simple cancers like basal cell carcinoma, which is a type of skin cancer. I bet you they will not pay you off for that, because if it's picked up very early, they do surgery and that's that. You're done, you get on with it. The same with some types of breast cancer, the same with some types of lung cancer. So it's very, very important to be aware of that and know that.
Again, critical illness has a term. So the person has to be diagnosed with those critical illness in the term of the policy. If you're diagnosed a month or two after the policy expired, you won't get any money. So just for people to know, because I've had a lot of questions, people not understanding the terms and conditions of the policies, or not actually understanding what they've got in place. So it's good to have, shall I say, a reputable advisor. I'm going to say this, I hope people understand this. Some people offer insurance, they are not well trained to offer insurance products. I'm going to say some bank staff and some post office staff are not trained to, when we advise and recommend, example, I met a client a few days ago and she said to me that she was told that she has a life policy from the post office and it's told her that it does not cover her for abroad.
Okay.
So basically, you have to die in the UK to be able to make a claim. So some life policies from the post office and the banks do not cover you for abroad. You just want, a lot of them do, but some do not. So you need to be careful, get policies from them. As because some people, and then people go online to get policies for themselves. You are not experienced, you're not educated on this area. It's like you could be your own doctor. Would you diagnose yourself?
No.
Would you prescribe for yourself?
No.
You ask Mr. Google, Mr. Google may not know you so well.
Yes, Mr. Google is giving you a generalized recommendation or suggestion.
So it's best to speak with people who are experts, I would say, who are well trained and can give advice and recommendation. Not where you go to see someone, they tell you or ask you, Isatta, so what do you want? Life insurance, how long do you want it for? That is not what we do. We look at your needs, after gathering information about you and your family, your work, and about you, and then we'll look at your needs, and then we'll make recommendations for you. We'll tell you what is best for you. And depending on your budget, we then put policies in place to suit your family needs or your needs, you understand? Why would I ask you what you want? Do you know what you want? Do you know what life insurance is? Do you know what critical illness is?
No. So, up until today, and the fact that me and you have been having conversations over the last few weeks, I didn't even realize the different types of life insurance.
There you go.
You know, I didn't know how it worked and when it worked and what you should put in place.
Definitely.
You know, the other day you were asking me something, I was like, what is that? You know, and I know I'm not stupid. I know I'm a very intelligent lady, but I didn't know something.
You wouldn't know because you know your field of you're not an expert in that field.
Absolutely.
You could be an expert in nursing or in medical work and also be an expert in insurance. So when you need something, you go to people who are experts in that field to help educate you and then make recommendations for you. Then you're trying to do everything all by yourself. Or go into internet and people have taken up wrong policies or incorrect, or shall I say worthless policies, because they want to do it themselves or because they want to save a pound or two. You can save a pound or two and get policies that would not cover you abroad, or is not suitable for your needs or your family needs, or not adequate or worthless.
So going back to the critical illness cover, it covers what we've said, critical illness, basically any illness that is of serious implications or complications. To name a few, some types of cancers, stroke, which is also considered cardiovascular accident, heart failure, kidney failure, liver failure, dementia, and so on and so forth. So these are critical illnesses. How do you go about taking this cover, and what do you look out for?
Again, critical illness, if maybe somebody has already had critical illness diagnosis, it could be a bit tricky. Some providers will not consider them. Like today, I called up a woman took up funeral insurance with me, and then she said to me, my mom is in the hospice, she would like to have funeral insurance to prepare for a funeral because they haven't got money put aside. And she said to me, her mom has got dementia. And I'm thinking, okay, that could be an issue. But I asked her, does she have any other issues? She said, no, just dementia. So first of all, before I decide to go and see such a person, I called the provider. And I asked them, this woman is X years old, she is this, she's that, she's got this. And the provider said to me, that would be a no. For funeral insurance. So let alone critical illness, because dementia is a critical illness.
Oh yes.
So if somebody who's got critical illness, some critical illness is like, I know a client of mine who had breast cancer, and when she came to me, she wanted critical illness. It was a decline. She wanted life policy. She then had I think she just had illness just 18 months prior to come to see me. So the provider said they wouldn't take her till she's 5 years old clear. They would probably offer her life, but not critical illness. So critical illness, if you are well, that's the best time to take up critical illness.
Yes, so it's not to wait, because sometimes we all have these habits. We wait when we are sick. That's when we think, oh, let's go take it now. No, you have to take it before you become unwell, because guess what? When you sign on those dotted lines, you've given permission to that provider to check your medical records. So if you know you've got a critical illness and you deceive them by saying you didn't, and you then go in for that cover, then you've literally committed fraud.
When it comes to paying, you won't get paid. You won't get paid because and then people will say insurance companies don't pay.
Yes. Well, it's simple thing. For example, people, let's take car insurance. But when you're going through your car insurance, when you're going through the policy, they will ask you simple things like, where do you park your car? Do you park it in a garage or a driveway or parking space? Street? Now, we all know if you park it in a garage, it's going to reduce your premium. So a lot of people will say, yes, I park it in a garage, even though they don't have a garage.
Parking in the street.
I did it the first time I did my insurance. I did that. I didn't realize the implications until somebody else something they had an accident, and then the insurance company said, I will not pay. And they're like, why won't you pay? I've been paying you this and that. They said, no, where's your garage? You told us you were parking your car in the garage, but you're not parking your car in the garage. In fact, you don't even have a garage. So what they said to her, just back off, otherwise we will actually report you, and you will not be able to get any other. You cannot take out any other car insurance. So it's the same with all these insurances, life insurance, critical illness insurance, etc. If you give them false information, they would find out, and when they do, it makes your insurance null and void, isn't it?
And besides, you wasted your money paying for what you we never use.
Yes, absolutely. So we're gonna take a break in a minute, and then when we come back, we will then move on and we will talk about income protection and multi-protect and accident cover. So what we've spoken about, just to recap, we've spoken about life insurance, the importance of it, the three different types, which is a one-off payment, which can be done even before you die if you've been diagnosed of a terminal illness, wherein you've got less than 12 months to live, or you've got the one that is called the family income benefit, where it's good for us who have young children and we're not sure that they can cope with a lump sum of money, because some of these life insurances are from 100,000 to up to 500,000. That's a lot of money.
A lot more than that.
A lot more than that sometimes. For somebody to have that bulk, they go crazy. If you give me 100,000 right now, I'm going a bit crazy because I don't know what to do with it. So imagine you give a young child, or even somebody, the guardian who is looking after them. So to protect that income and to protect the children, you do it on a quarterly basis, which is what's called the family income benefit. And then you've got the one, if you've got a mortgage, you've got the one that is linked to your mortgage. And that is there to help you pay the mortgage. If it was whatever mortgage it is, it will pay whatever it can. And if it's two of you that have taken the mortgage, Felicity has advised, it's good to take a life insurance that says the insurance will be paid out on the first death, not on the second death. So these are all the little things one needs to look out for and make sure you have the right advisor. I know there's a lot of negativity about insurances and the fact that you pay. You hear people say, me I dey pay no more, me no dey see nothing. But yes, the point is, sometimes the moment you stop paying, sod's law, that's when something will happen.
I think we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so we'll go on to that a bit more. And then the other thing we've talked about is critical illness payment, which is totally different from life insurance. Sometimes you're able to take out a life insurance, but sometimes you're not able to take out a critical illness cover, because if you're already suffering from a critical illness, you will not be allowed to take a critical illness cover. So that is why Felicity is saying, take it before you become critically unwell, because we don't know what is happening internally. So it's always better to take some of these things actually when you're well and feeling fit and alive. So we're off to break now, and we will see you in a couple of minutes. Don't go away, please stay with us. Just grab yourself a hot drink and call a friend, share with a friend, and let them join in, because it's very important. Next on the topic is going to be income protection and multi-protect and accident cover. Thank you very much. I am and I will. I am Isatta Sisay-Jalloh from the Health Show Partnership Program. It's World Cancer Day on February the 4th, 2020. So what are we going to do about it? I am a wife, mother, and a sister. I am a nurse with a special interest in cancer and palliative care. And I am a game changer. So join us on Saturday, the 7th of March, for the second annual cancer conference. There will be speakers talking about prostate, breast and cervical cancer, myth busting, and looking at cancer from a traditional and religious perspective. You would walk away saying, I will get smarter, I will get screened, I will eat healthily, and I will create change. So let's work towards a brighter and healthier future. I am and I will.
The changes continue. The innovations continue. As Female in Sierra Leone, United Kingdom and Ireland branch presents Launching and Remembrance Day on Saturday, 14th March 2020 from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Denmark Hill Community Centre, Blanchdown, London, SE5 8HL. This auspicious event will honor and remember rebel war victims, Ebola victims, victims of flooding, mudslide victims, victims of violence, and victims of knife crime. So, do come and be part of a worthy cause. The Female in Sierra Leone UK Launching and Remembrance Day, Saturday 14th March 2020 from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Denmark Hill Community Centre, Blanchdown, London, SE5 8HL. Female in Sierra Leone, United Kingdom and Ireland branch. Indeed, Sierra Leone will rise again.
Good evening. Welcome back to the Health Show. This is Isatta Sisay-Jalloh on Diaspora Voices. Welcome back, and thank you for staying on. Thank you. Today we are talking about putting your house in order, and primarily we are talking about protecting yourself. How can you protect yourself with things like life insurance, critical illness cover, and so on and so forth. If you're just joining us, please feel free to make comments, call in and ask questions. The number is underneath the page, and we will be most grateful. We will try our best. My dear Felicity here, who is a protection advisor, is quite capable of answering your questions, and if it's something she can't answer online, then she'll take your number, or you can take her number, and then you could speak to her privately. And if you don't have any of these insurances we're talking about, and if you're not sure, please take Felicity's number and call her later in your own time. For those of you who I know, who I have personal relationship with, I am going to give your number to Felicity. It's the first time I'm going to give people's numbers to Felicity, to somebody else without permission, but it is for your own good, so I'll do it. If you already have it, fine, no problem, she won't hound you. But one thing,
even if you do,
yeah, I was just gonna say, one thing she actually did with me, because when she met me, I was like, oh, I have had a life insurance for a very long time, However, she didn't give up on me. She then said, tell me about your life insurance, and I couldn't tell her much. And I said, oh, I'll have to go look at the papers. And then she started asking me specific questions about my life insurance. And then I didn't have any answer to any of the questions you me. So then I actually thought to myself, oops, I don't know. Do I have this? Do I don't have this? I'm like, oh, So I started thinking about it, and I said, you know what? There's nothing wrong with me sitting with this lady and going through my insurance with her. There's nothing wrong. She's made it quite clear. If it's fine, she's not gonna, you don't fix what is not broken. But if it's not fine, let's fix it. So actually what she didn't touch my life insurance, even though I've got a homework to do. She gave me a homework to do regarding my life insurance. What she then did, she gave me something else that is not within my life insurance that I thought was in my life insurance and critical illness cover. So that is what we're moving on to now. So it's very, very important for us to think about these things. Nobody is smarter. Nobody is more intelligent. When we've got an expert, let's use them. Let's use them wisely, because like Felicity said, there are a lot of rogue providers out there. There's a lot of rogue brokers out there. There's a lot of broke insurance sales people out there, so you have to be mindful and make sure you choose the right person. So we're moving on now to income protection. Now this one I've never heard of, Felicity. What is income protection? So please call in callers. You need to, viewers, I'm seeing lots of viewers here. I'm very impressed. Please give her my number. Yes, Fatima Taylor said I should give her number to you, so I'll be sharing her number with you. Thank you, Fatima. We've got Hawa Marriott here. Hawa, I hope to see you next Saturday. We don't bite in Southeast London, Please feel free to visit us in Southeast London. Emilda, thank you, well done. Betty B, good job. And Musu Bangura is watching as well. Memuna Kamara and Aderemi Adeku is saying thanks for sharing this meaningful video. Thank you too for watching. Please share as well. Please ask questions. If you're shy to call in, please just type in whatever, and then we can answer your questions later. Mama Koya, Nim Conte, our very own DJ Sokinda. That's what I like. Our DJ is listening. Well done, DJ. And of course, my darling sister Jara Tubashu. Wilfrenet is listening all the way from Sierra Leone.
Wow.
Yes, my sister Fanny is listening all the way. My sister Rugi Tala. So lots of women. Kasada Kitchen all the way from America. Yata Kosia, and so on and so forth. Thank you all for watching. So, lots of women are watching more than the men, isn't it? It's quite interesting. But again, it's us women that have attention to detail when it comes to things like this. I'm not trying to be sexist here or feminist, but I think we do do a lot. Oh, somebody said they've got your number, so they will definitely be calling you because we've posted your number on the page, so they will be calling you. So that's fantastic. So let's move on now. Let's talk about this income protection. What is income protection?
Income protection is actually simple. Income you earn, you go to work to earn money, isn't it?
Yeah, and I spend it.
Yes. So what then happens if you're unable to work to earn that money, that income? What happens?
Well, it depends. If I'm sick, I know because I've been with my employer for over 10 years. I know I will be paid
sick pay.
Yeah. But even that, if it's a long-term illness, they'll pay me full pay for the first 3 months, and then the second 3 months it will be half pay.
Then what happens after that?
Nothing. I have to go on benefit, isn't it? Whether it's universal credit or employment support or incapacity benefit or whatever they call them.
But then it depends on how much it is, because you are used to a certain income coming in.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. My lifestyle is based on my income.
Your lifestyle is based on your income. So income protection, basically what it does, it pays, some providers pay up to 60 or 65% of your annual gross income. That's how much you get every month. So if this, especially for people like you who don't have long-term sick pay, or even those who do, will want to take a policy afterwards, so that if they are ill or have an accident and can't go to work, the insurance company starts paying them like that monthly salary, which is equivalent to 60 or 65% of your annual gross. That's what you get every month. Basically, that's why it's called income and protection, to protect your income from when you're not able to go and earn that money, so you have some money to live on. And you will actually find there 60 or 65% of your gross is just enough to meet your basic outgoings.
Yes.
Yeah, which does help, because sometimes illness gets worse, or people die from illness, especially critical illness, because of worry about money. But when you don't worry about money, you're more focused on recovering than thinking and worrying, how will this be paid, or how will it happen, or going back and benefit, or going to benefit, and things like that. You don't want that worry. Insurance company will actually help you. I'll give you an example. I have a client, I gave a quote a few days ago, income protection.
Okay.
And the quote was just over 2,700, something like that. And his quote was for about, is it £55? And he, interestingly, said to me, and for till his retirement age of 70, that's probably like in 20, 25 years. I don't quite remember. And in total, he would pay, if he has to take the policy for the duration of the term, it will probably be just under 17,000.
Okay.
He will pay in total. And then he asked me, what if I pay all this and don't make a claim? So the way how people think about paying for insurance.
Yes.
Very classic. I said to him, how about you think how much you get? I said to him, okay, look, do the math. Took his phone out, said, let me do the math. They will pay you 2,700 a month. Say 6 months.
Yes.
Did the math, that came up to 16,700.
Yeah.
I said to him, this is how much you will pay in total for about 25 or 20 something years of the policy.
Yes.
This is what insurance company will pay you in 6 months. So now, who is better off?
Yeah.
And if you were to be ill for a whole year, the amount comes to 33,000.
They'll pay you.
They'll pay you.
Yes.
So now who is winning? And then I worked out even some more. If you were to save that £55 a month, for you to get 2,700, you would actually need to save it for 4 years to get 1 month income the insurance company would pay you.
Yes.
So I would like people to look at things in have a different perspective, different way, look at things differently. Not just what you're paying, what about how you're going to gain, what you're benefiting. The insurance company takes more risk on you. They ask you pay. Then if nothing happens, you don't get any money. So think of it as your car insurance. Every day they take risk on you. In case something happens, they will pay. Imagine how much it would cost to fix your car. You're paying £100 a month. Your car could cost about 3,000 or more to fix.
Yeah.
Would you be able to pay that if it was to happen? So these are things you need to think about. Insurance is there for a reason. Of course, they're there to make money, but if they have to put all your premiums together without investing the money. It will never be enough.
Yeah.
So people have to start thinking differently, how this benefits them as opposed to just how much they are paying.
Yes.
Because you stand to benefit as well. Long term,
Yes.
you actually benefit more than the company.
Okay, that's good. So thank you so much for that. So that's income protection.
It's especially also designed for people who are self-employed or contract workers. All this good for people like that.
Yes.
As well.
Oh, that's good. That's a good pointer there. It's so we're just talking about income protection. Income protection is basically you pay into an insurance that protects your income when you're sick, when you're not able to go to work. Now, some of us will say, "Oh, we've got sick pay," but how long does your sick pay last for? I know I work for a very reputable organization, but I know they will only pay me for 6 months. After 6 months, they will probably even consider medically retiring me, depending on the type of illness you have. So it's very important to think about all these things. We all know money plays an integral role in whatever we do. It is not the be end or be all. However, we need money to function. And so when you're going through stress or grief or distress, the last thing you want is something else that can be avoided to cause you more stress. So it's very, very important to think about these things and look at them. And we will go on to accident cover, and then when we're done with accident cover, I can see some comments, and then we'll go to the comments. Is that all right?
That's fine.
So we're moving on from income protection. Now we're moving on to accident cover. So what is the difference? Because people might be thinking, because years ago I thought life insurance, when they say life insurance, I thought it covered everything. And then as I got older and more wiser, I then started hearing about critical illness. And now I'm hearing, I've heard about, so I always thought critical illness and accident cover are the same. But then now I'm realizing, no, they're not the same. Then I'm now discovering income protection. So tell us a bit about accident cover.
Accident cover is basically a policy that if you have in place and you were to experience certain kind of accidents, the insurance company will pay you. So I say to people that these insurance all have their own things they do, different benefits. And life insurance basically is not for you to benefit from, it's for your beneficiaries. So life insurance is the basic or the core fundamental insurance to have in place if you have people depending on you financially. After that, you need insurance that you can enjoy for you when you are alive. These are the income protection insurance, the critical illness insurance for you, then the accident insurance for you as well. The accident protection we have covers against accidental broken bones, accidental permanent injuries, total permanent disability. It also covers against UK hospital stay, and also funeral benefit covers. Example, last year, I was minding my business. I went to a party. I wore a high heel, as you do. You have to wear a high heel when you go to a party. After the party, I came out of the hall to go home, and innocently, I just slipped. I fell down, literally. Twisted. My right ankle went underneath my left leg, and I fell on it, and my ankle cracked. Actually, it was fractured. I thought it was a sprain. The first time this happened was 2 years ago. I fell, twisted the same ankle. I was with a friend. He said to me, while I was on the floor, he said to me, I thought you have insurance. I'm thinking, I have insurance, but I don't want to break anything. That's how I said to him. I said, I have insurance, but I don't want to break any bone. And luckily, that time, nothing broke. This time, I'm thinking it's a sprain as well. Nothing happened, but it was fractured. So my ankle was fractured. So I was able to make a claim. This was the first time I made a claim from my own insurance. It felt good, but it was painful, but the money was good. So basically, if you have broken bone, you can be fingers, your ankles, legs, any bone you break, you get some money. Okay? Yes. If you have an accident and then you're in hospital due to the accident, what the company does, if you're there after 24 hours, you're still there, they'll start paying you every night for being in hospital there. Okay? And then if you have some accidental death, it pays for accidental death as well. Accidental permanent injury, total permanent disability, all this gets paid. And then if the person was to die of natural causes, that natural causes may not cause by accident. It could be they've been ill before then die away. That's fine. They will pay some money towards the funeral as well, which is great. It does a lot of things.
Wow.
And you can also add your children as the optional cover. Children will be covered for everything there apart from funeral benefit.
Okay.
Children don't get funeral benefit, they get cancer benefit instead, which is actually a huge addition, which is good, really.
Okay, good. So that's our accident cover.
And this accident policy, the other thing about it is it doesn't ask any medical questions. So people who already have critical illness or who cannot get other policies because of their health conditions can take up this policy. They benefit a lot there from the accidental broken bones, from the hospital stay, and also from the funeral benefit.
Oh, okay. So let's say, let me give a simple example here. Somebody who's been diagnosed of cancer, they obviously can no longer take critical illness cover.
Or life policy.
Yeah. However, they can now take accident cover.
They can take it.
And even though when they die, they'll probably be dying of the cancer, they'll still have a funeral payment?
Yes. They'll get
so,
funeral benefit.
Hear that, people. Hear that. Listen, open your ears. That's very, very important and very key to know. And how long do you have to have been paying this cover for you to be entitled to that funeral payment?
If the policyholder was to die within the first year of the policy, they get a refund. They get refund of the premiums.
Okay, so when you say the premium, what they pay every month?
What you pay every month, and there are different levels of premium you have to pay. You pay, depending on what you can afford, really.
Yes.
So everybody can basically afford it because it had different levels. So the first 1 year, you have your premium refunded. After that, then you get paid according to the specifications in the terms and conditions. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So people, hear this. So we've been talking about life insurance, we've been talking about critical illness, we've talked about income protection, and we've just talked about accident cover.
Also, I'd like to add onto the accident cover, we also have two more optional benefits you can add. One is active lifestyle, where if sometimes you can have an accident, you don't break a bone, but you can have dislocation or tendon ruptures or ligament tear.
Okay.
If you have this, you can make a claim on that as well. And also we have what they call healthcare cover, where if you accidentally infect yourself, things like HIV or hepatitis B or C or which is the other one I've mentioned? TB,
yes, hepatitis, HIV,
Clostridium difficile,
yes,
MRSA, things like this.
Yep.
If you accidentally infect yourself of this, then you get some money paid out as well.
Yeah, good. So a sister just joined who actually fractured her leg or knee not so long ago, Mariatu, one of our baby sisters. So I don't know, Mariatu. So that's something to think about if you don't already have it. And hello, Nadia, and Alimatu is watching. Hello, big sis. And Alimatu said, great, Felicity, and she's just asked a question saying, can one leave their insurance policies in their children's name?
What do you mean leave the insurance policy? You can put your children as beneficiaries. In the policy.
So you can put your children as beneficiaries. That's what it means.
You can also put them as trustees. So it depends on how you want to structure them.
Yes. So you see, so
trustees if they're over 18.
Yes. So you see, this program today is about sensitization, raising awareness to get you thinking about some of things and some of these questions that are coming up. But I'll suggest advice. Felicity's number is on the screen. Take note of it. And speak to her. This is her job. This is her bread and butter. I kind of asked her all sorts of rubbish questions when we met a few days ago, and she was very prepared. I was really trying to catch her out. Confession. I was trying to catch her. I said, no, these insurance people, they just want to come and chop somebody's money. I'm going to teach her a lesson. So I asked her so many questions, but every time she gave me one back. I'm like, this trip allowed me to be matches box. So, you know, so I hope that answers your question, Alima. It's basically you don't put the policy in your children's name, but they are included as beneficiaries, or they can be trustees if they're 18 and above. And again, that's one question that we will talk a bit more about in the long run, because that's one of the questions Felicity asked me about my life insurance that I couldn't answer using it. That if my insurance was trust.
I asked you, is your life policy in trust?
In trust or something like that. So this is where.
And you answered?
I said what's that?
Trust?
Yes. So these are all the little things that affect payments, payouts. So we will talk about that. So let me see what the next question is. She is wonderful. Thank you. Yes, that's what I wanted to know. Oh, good. She's also a presenter. I know she is a brilliant presenter. Yay. What else here? Somebody said here, oh, she can't get through the phone, producer. They're trying to phone, but they can't get through the phone. So IB Ibrahim says, if you have a life insurance cover for over a couple of years and you unfortunately lose your job, can't pay for a couple of months, what will be your position? You can't pay your monthly premium. That's basically.
Some providers can keep policies up to 2 months still active.
Okay. If they know your circumstances.
Yes. Even if they don't know, just this is a bit the gray area. So I would suggest do not leave it for more than 60 days. As long as when you start paying, you pay back. You pay the 2 months you haven't paid.
You pay your arrears.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you have a life policy like that and you were to pass away within that 60 days, some providers will still pay the life policy less the 2 months premium you haven't paid. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay.
So when they do their calculations, they take into account the interest rate in those 2 months. Yeah?
Not really, just the premium. You didn't pay.
Just the premium.
So
okay.
If your premium is £20 a month and you've missed 2 payments, and hopefully the policy is still active when you die, that period, and your policy is 100,000, it's 100,000 minus £40.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah. So that is different, though, guys. That's different from cancellation.
If you
cancel your insurance, that's different.
If you cancel your policy today and die a minute after cancelling,
that's it.
It's a no.
It's a null and void. But if we're talking about this situation where IB is saying, what if, like things are hard, you hit a rough time, I think the one sensible thing to do is call your provider and say, look, this is my situation, where do I stand? Then you know whether they have this gray area or not, isn't it?
What I'll recommend as well, because a lot of this happens, I'm black, so you won't penalize me for saying this, because I've seen it in so many, in our community, people don't value what they should be valued a lot of the times. I'm sorry, some people don't. Somebody said to me one time, Felicity, the difference between a white man and a black man is, if the black man should lose his job, the last thing he will let go is his car. Like our BMW and our Mercedes. While a white man, if he should lose his job, the first thing he gets rid is his car.
Yes.
So, people that have financial difficulties, the first thing they do is they cancel their insurance. That is when you need your insurance the most, because you'll be very stressed and anything could happen to you at that period.
Yes.
And people who are overworking, I'll give you an example. I saw a lady 2 years ago. She said she's got 2 life insurance. And I asked her, do you have a critical illness insurance? She said no. Oh, I don't need it. How many hours? She works round the clock. I said to her, from your lifestyle, you need a critical illness insurance.
Yeah.
That your lifestyle, anything could happen to you anytime.
There's no work-life balance, isn't it? It's round the clock working.
She said, I'm fine. Do you know, 6 months later, I saw her again. I reminded her, asked her, have you taken up critical illness insurance? Don't take it with me if you don't want, but go and get it. You understand? Don't think I want to get business from you. I get business anywhere, with or without you.
Yes.
So she ignored me. 6 months later, I saw her at a party. She was now walking with a stick. I was hurt. I went over to her to say hello. I asked her, why are you walking with a stick? She said she had a stroke a few months prior. And that was sad, because I just said, I'm sorry to hear that, and I walked away. Because I warned her for over a year. You understand? And a lot of people have been caught up cancelling the insurance. I've seen it a number of times. People have cancelled insurance. I don't know how this happens, people, but it just happened. People cancel insurance within a month to 3 months and they die.
Yes.
I just don't know what happens. But
we've seen that recently.
If you are thinking of cancelling your insurance, just think something bad is about to happen.
Yes. So don't cancel it, so that hopefully you avert that bad thing.
Just if you're having financial issues, find other things to cancel to eliminate, but do not cancel your insurance or do not stop paying your premium. Please find a way to make money, to make it work for you.
Let that be one of the last
priorities,
outgoings you cancel, because it's very, very important. Very, very important. So just to recap, for those of you who are just joining in, we've talked about life insurance, the 3 different types. Your one-off payments, which again, that is usually after death. However, if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness and you've been told you've got less than 12 months, your provider might be able to pay out your lump sum. The other type is the family income benefit one, which is really targeted for people with young children. For example, a single parent, and you've got young children, and you're going to appoint a legal guardian, and you're not too comfortable that you want them to have all this money, because it can be up to £1 million or whatever premium you take out. Life insurances can be quite big payouts sometimes, depending on what you pay on your premium. So you could do that where they get the income every quarterly, or if you've got a mortgage, your life insurance is 9 out of 10 times linked to your mortgage. And if your mortgage is with your partner, it's always good to do the insurance wherein it's paid out on the first death. So those are really the top tips. Your insurance should be paid out on the first death, not on the second death. So at least whosoever is left behind will have less stress in terms of that loss of income. Because remember, when you do these things, you do it based on your monthly income, your total income. And so when you lose money in any shape or form, it will have an impact on you very quickly. The other thing we talked about is critical illness insurance. Again, critical illness, what do we mean? That is some specific types of cancers and stroke, heart failure, kidney failure, and so on and so forth. And what happens when you have this cover? It pays you out a lump sum when you've been diagnosed of such ill health. And then we move on to income protection. Again, income protection is basically when you're unwell, and whether it's for a short period of time or a longer period of time, your income is being paid. 60 to 65% of your income is being paid and covered by this income protection. Why? Because it doesn't matter what top job you have in this country. I don't think there's any organization that pays you more than 6 months. I don't think so. Most times, if you're heading for more than 6 months, they're beginning to think of how best to retire you, whether you're now fitting the medical retirement bracket. So that's very important to remember. And then the other thing we've talked about is accident cover. Again, accident cover, it is very flexible. This is the type of insurance or cover you can have even if you have a prior critical illness. So if you're somebody who has got cancer, accident cover, you can still take accident cover, and guess what? It can cover your funeral payments if you've taken it and you die 12 months after. It can pay. If you die 12 months before or during the first 12 months, it gives back your monthly premium. So if you're taking out an accident cover that is £10 a month and you die before 12 months, if you've paid for 6 months, they'll give you back your £60, correct? So it's simple as that. So it's very, very, very important for us to think about these things. And within the accident cover as well, you can cover your children. You can do 2 types of cover: active cover, and what's the other cover?
Also healthcare cover, that's optional, you can add.
Yeah, healthcare cover as well. So all of this is basically as simple as we all know. There's so many roadworks going on in this town right now, and you don't know which pavement is uplifted or higher than the other one. You could easily trip and fall and fracture or break or tear a ligament. And if you've got the right accident cover, you can get a lump sum. And if you go to hospital and you have to be admitted and you're in that hospital for more than 24 hours, they start paying you for every 24 hours. So you're not worried about your finances. You're actually going to be focused on your health and well-being and getting yourself better, rather than laying there. They come with your painkiller. You don't really want to take it because you're really thinking, oh, the rent is supposed to come out now. What am I going to do? Or people start calling you, oh, so you gave debt for pay. You have to pay me. Remember that designer shoes you bought from me? I need my money now, and so on and so forth. So we have to remember those things. We're going to answer some questions, and then after that we're going to take a break, and then when we come back we're going to do the last 2 covers, and then we'll look at things generally, and we hope someone will call. So some of the questions we have got here. Alima says, Felicity, can a trustee in Africa away from the UK inherit the policy?
Trustee do not inherit policy. Beneficiaries do get the policy. The trustee enables other people. Say, example, you have young children who are under 18. The trustee or the people, the money will be paid to make sure the children, the beneficiaries, get the money.
Okay.
So you can use this trustee in Africa as long as you have the phone number, contact details there, and easy to access to contact them. Fine. It's also good to have one here, but if you don't have any here, only that, then it's fine. You can still use that.
And also, someone in Africa can also be the beneficiary, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's not just your children. Your mother can inherit, could be a beneficiary. Your father can be a beneficiary. Your auntie, your sisters, your brothers, whosoever you think are financially dependent on you.
Yeah, you can put their names
that
down.
will be affected financially by your death. So the phone line is working, by the way. So if you do want to call in, please call in. The other question, I think it's more a comment rather than a question. Emilda says, good to know there's insurance for us to enjoy when we're alive instead of just one for beneficiaries when we're dead.
Definitely. That's what I tell people, that take up insurance you can enjoy while you're alive, not just the ones for other people too, because you have to, things do happen to you. Accidents happen every day.
Yeah. And then Alima was just responding to someone that says direct message me and we'll share and your number. So we've got someone calling. Hello, good evening, caller. Welcome to the Health Show on Diaspora Voices. Who is calling and where are you calling from?
This is this is Alima too, and I'm calling from London. And good evening to Felicity, and good evening to you, Isatta.
Good evening, big sis. Welcome. What's your question or comment?
A great friend of. Yes, my question is, I know you've been answering quite a few, but as you can see, I really need to learn from Felicity. I'll be calling you anyway. But I wanted to know, for example, people that die without a will but have insurance, And can the beneficiary, because obviously they're not listed on a will or anything like that, but can they still make a claim to the insurance, or can they get the beneficiary get the insurance?
If there is a trust in place, it's easy. Okay? Because a trust is a document that you specify who your trustees are and who your beneficiaries are. And some trusts, you actually have to specify the percentage that each beneficiary will get. If there is no trust in place and the policyholder has passes away, say the children want to claim that money, then this is where probate comes in. They have to go to court to get what is actually legally theirs. It means you have to pay. And a lot of the times, this takes about 6 months to 1 year to get the money to prove. If there is a will stating otherwise, then that could be something that you need to speak with a solicitor about. You understand? So going to court, hopefully if there's no will counteracting or saying that their life policy should go somebody else. If there's no will saying that, it means, and then there is no trust in place, the beneficiaries or the children of the deceased can then go to court to apply to actually prove that they are the legal people to get this money. That could take 6 months to 1 year, and it probably cost them about 10% of how much they want to claim. Which is not a nice time for you to want to go to court when you are grieving a loved one, you understand? So having a trust document in place, it just makes life easier. The money gets paid between 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. And also what trust does, and that's why I've seen people who say insurance don't pay or they don't pay on time. It takes months. This is because there's no trust in place. People don't understand they have to do that. If you buy policy online, I don't think it tells you that. You don't know all these things unless you speak to an expert who knows what they're doing. Also, what a trust document does is it actually helps reduces or prevents you paying inheritance tax depending on how much your life policy is. You understand? So if you have a life policy over £350,000, which is the inheritance tax, that's when it kicks in, you don't have a trust, you have to pay 40% inheritance tax. So if you have £500,000 now, after £350,000, you start paying 40% on the 150 that is left.
Yes.
That is a lot of money. Okay.
That is a lot of money.
So you don't want that. So you want to have a trust document in place that will actually,
make it smooth in the process, basically.
The process to make these things, to make these things work for you. So you get the money quicker. It also prevents inheritance tax or reduces the amount of inheritance tax you have to pay.
Yes.
So in terms of, I know you're not legal, but the trust is obviously, the trust document is different from the will, right?
Yes.
And they can both work hand in hand, and you can have both. You can have trust document and you can have a will, and it's actually advisable to have both, because your will declares and states all your property and whatever you have, and who you want to appoint to be executors of your estate, and who are the beneficiaries. Now, the trust itself actually then gives you appoint trustees, and also they manage your wealth or estate, isn't it?
I will say that I'm not authorized to give advice on will, so I will not speak about a will at all. I'll speak about what I'm authorized to give advice on, which is the policies that I do, the insurance and the trust, because I'm trained and authorized to do that. So as long as, for me, I think is probably straightforward. If the will is not against what the trust document says, if it's in conflict, then there's an issue with lawyers to have to sort out. But like I said, for example, if there's no will in place, it's easy to get money where there's no trust. It's not easy, but you still have to pay for that. But it just makes things easier. There's a will saying that this man has got a trust has got a life policy. He wants Smith to be the beneficiary, but Smith is actually the cousin, not the child. And the child thinks that they should get the money from about the policy of their dad. Now this is where trouble starts. You understand?
Okay.
Then this is the matter for the courts and lawyers.
So the child can challenge that will but if that was done in a trust, it's black and white basically. It's straightforward. Okay. Yeah, Alima, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. But I have one more question around insurance.
Yes.
And content insurance.
We're going to touch on that.
We're going to move on to that in a minute. Yes. So hold on to that thought.
Yeah.
I was going to answer your other question that you stated. You talked about what about work death benefit. I think that is totally different.
That's what.
No, work death benefit. That's I think you're talking about death in service, isn't it?
Is it death in service?
Is that death in service?
No,
or funeral benefit?
If you worked for the civil service.
Yes, so that's death in service. So depending on your organization, some organizations have that policy that they call death in service. So when you die whilst you're still employed, you're still an employee, depending on the organization's policy, they will then give you a lump sum. Yes, and again, people need to find out whether their organization has such a policy, and you also need to complete the form, and you also need to list your beneficiaries. Because I myself didn't know that existed until my colleague died a few years back.
May I just add to that? Life insurance, I mean, this is similar to life insurance. It's just called different names. Okay, because some pay, is it 3 times or 4 times somebody's annual income?
Yeah.
Okay. Life insurance, what we do to calculate that, we normally pay 90% of your annual income, okay, times the age the youngest child will be 25, multiplied. And then critical illness will work out to be 4 times your annual gross income. So if you look at it, it's still like almost like the debt and service thing. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
Of how it's being calculated. So it's just enough money to sustain the lifestyle of your income that's created for you.
And I don't think because you have a death in service policy, you should not take a life insurance. Because there are 2 different payments. A life insurance will always pay more than a death in service. And if like you're somebody who's got a mortgage, at least your life insurance, if it's linked to your mortgage, it will sort that out.
Sure.
So the death in service payment will be a lump sum for your beneficiary. So it will be more money rather than less money. So yeah, there are 2 different types of insurance, but they're all both useful. And again, like I said, it's very important for people to check with their organization, especially reputable organizations, but primarily civil service. I think civil servants, we have it, you know, but people need to check and fill the form out and write down their beneficiaries, you know.
Yeah, and my last question is, can you have more than one life insurance with different insurance brokers?
Okay. The answer with me, with our company, yes. With other companies, I don't know. Why say that? Some companies, if you have more than one policy, they won't pay. Okay? Some will pay. So I don't know who the company you are with, if they will pay or not. So you need to check. But our company, say you have insurance, you took up life policy with my company, one of our providers, and then you have with somebody else. If the person, if you were to pass away, our provider will pay. I'm not sure the others will pay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. That was very good. I've learned a lot.
Oh yes, we're learning. We're so learning here. It's unbelievable.
I was hooked to the program from start to finish.
Yes.
One of the things, questions I've had for a long time myself.
Yes.
But thank you very much.
Thank you. Keep listening. Stay tuned.
I will.
Somebody just made a comment and said, inheritance and legacy planning is important. The purpose of the trust can be set out. The will is your last intention. Very important to take legal advice. Great to get private client advice, also to plan and see if gifts can and should be passed earlier to avoid tax. So you see, I think we've got somebody there with a legal hat on that is talking. So that's true, very, very true. We know tax avoidance, trying to, the inheritance tax and so on. So we're going to move on to the next type of cover, which is whole life or funeral cover.
It's called whole of life or funeral cover. It's called different ways, different names, has different names. Call it adaptable life or over 50 plan or whole of life or funeral cover. Is same thing. You've probably seen them advertised on TV, stuff like that. Basically, it's the kind of policy that just pays out upon one, a lump sum paid up when the policyholder dies. Or again, diagnosed with terminal illness, when they've got 12 months or less to live, the money will be paid out. It's just money specifically for your funeral. And we do that policy for people over 50 years old. Yes.
So this is the over 50s. The over 50s, you can have this funeral cover. And again, does it make any difference if you've got an underlying health problem?
All these policies, life policy, critical illness, income protection, funeral benefit, or whole of life, they all ask medical questions. All these policies, the amount you pay depends on the amount of cover, that's how much you're being insured for, your health condition, your lifestyle, if you're a smoker or overweight, if you're a smoker or you're a drinker, you whatever, things like that, your BMI index. That is your height and weight ratio. It means that if you're overweight for your height, all this will affect your premium, will determine how much you get, or determine if you're accepted or not. Or you could be accepted with certain exclusions or certain conditions attached to them.
Okay, I see. So, and last but not the least, building contents and landlord insurance.
Okay, this is maybe Alimatu might come back on the phone for her content insurance. Let me explain. Buildings insurance, if you have a home, a house with a mortgage, or without mortgage. Let me go with mortgage for you. You have a home with a mortgage because when buying the property, the mortgage lenders would need you to have a home insurance or buildings insurance in place to protect their money.
Yes.
And also good for you. What that means, if the house was to probably burn down, or anything was to happen,
or the flooding that's gone on up north recently, isn't it? People's homes are flooded.
You can have some money to help you fix those things. If it burns down, rebuild cost will be paid to you. This is building that you live in.
Okay.
If you have a building or a house that you don't live there, but is yours, you put tenants there, you must have what calls landlord insurance.
Okay.
If you have buildings insurance on the property you don't live in, you cannot make a claim. The insurance company will not pay because you have the wrong insurance there.
Okay.
So you need to differentiate this. Now, content insurance is you can have that if you have the house, if it's yours or not, you can have content. Just insure things in there. What is yours, insure your contents. You can then also, if the building belongs to you, the house belongs to you, you can show what is there. You can have buildings and content, or you can just have buildings alone. Some people think that they finish paying their mortgage, they don't need buildings insurance. And I tell them this is where you actually lose out the most. Because if your property is worth 500,000, a million, even 300,000, if it was to burn down right now, you have nothing.
Yes.
So people, your saving is like penny wise, pound foolish.
I like that. Penny wise, pound foolish. Producer, we need to type that in there.
It's like
penny wise, pound foolish.
Because
you want to go to heaven, but you don't want to die.
Imagine. So a lady gave an example that they had buildings and content insurance for 2 years. They were paying like £14 a month for 2 years. I think we've been paying this insurance. There's no point. Cancel it. Again, like I said, within a month of canceling insurance, they had boiler broke down or pipe works broke down in the house. They called up plumber. They discovered that the whole pipe in the house needs to be replaced. This was November. This was winter. It cost them £2,000 to fix. What could have been £14 a month? For 2 years, they probably haven't paid up to £200, but they paid £2,000.
Which, if they had the building insurance,
if they had the building insurance, that would have been covered because it's part of what was covered then. So things like this, you pay so little and you worry so much over little, considering that you're going to get so much. So I want you to begin to have this shift. There has to be this shift that stop looking at how much you're paying, but look at the benefit and the time and pain it will save you. You know what you're going to gain from that. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much, Felicity. This has been very, very informative. We'll be going on break soon, and when we come back, we'll just round up and then we'll look at some questions that we could ask. And also, again, please feel free to call in and ask or make a note of questions, and we can read them and try and answer them. And again, Felicity's number is on the screen, so please take it down and call her for your one-to-one consultancy so that she can help you out. Even if you have a life insurance or any of these insurances we've talked about, speak to her. She's a sister. She might ask you questions that you haven't thought about, that you should be thinking about, or you should go look in. I have had to call for my insurance policy documents so that we could go through it with a fine-tooth comb, because we all rush out and take these things because we think it's the right thing to do, but actually we don't actually sit down and read through it and make sure we're following due process. I didn't know anything about this trust business. I didn't know anything about the trustee and the life insurance and how it affects you when you're trying to claim it back, and etc, etc. I didn't know there was something called income protection. So we learn every day, and it's good that when we have these informations, we make the most of it. So we are going to go on break now, and we will be back, and we will go through some questions, and feel free to ask more questions as well. Stay tuned, and we'll come back in 2 minutes. Thank you very much. I am, and I will. I am Isatta Sisay-Jalloh from the Health Show Partnership Program. It's World Cancer Day on February the 4th, 2020. So what are we going to do about it? I am a wife, mother, and a sister. I am a nurse with a special interest in cancer and palliative care. And I am a game changer. So join us on Saturday, the 7th of March, for the 2nd Annual Cancer Conference. There will be speakers talking about prostate, breast, and cervical cancer, myth busting, and looking at cancer from a traditional and religious perspective. You would walk away saying, I will get smarter, I will get screened, I will eat healthily, and I will create change. So let's work towards a brighter and healthier future. I am, and I will. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to the Health Show. This is Isatta Sisay-Jalloh on Diaspora Voices, and with me here I've got my lovely protection advisor Felicity, who is here with me today, and we are talking about different types of insurances, from life cover to critical illness, income protection, funeral payments, health insurance, and building contents and landlord insurance. We've talked about all of that. If you're just joining us, we're very sorry. You can go back and listen to it when we finished, and if you're interested and you're keen to know more, please do not hesitate to contact Felicity on her number, which is on the screen. or if you're a bit hesitant, contact myself or Diaspora Voices, and we will signpost you. I will be sharing some numbers with her anyway late in the next couple of days, whether they do have insurance or not. It'll be good for her to talk to, because I've learned, I've benefited, I've had insurance since the day I had my son. I took out an insurance, because like Felicity said, when we become pregnant, we start preparing for that baby to come into the world. We buy cots, we buy clothing, we buy Pampers, we buy wipes. So she's saying, why shouldn't we prepare and make sure the baby or that child is okay when we exit the world, which basically means when we die. So if we're going to prepare for their entrance into the world, we should also prepare for our exit out of the world, because if it works out how it should, we should die before them. And so basically we need to think about that. So that is what it's all about. And also one of the other top tips is basically there are certain insurance covers you can take even though you've got critical illness. So it's very important. Again, that's something I learned very shortly with talking to Felicity. So we're going to have some few questions that I'm going to ask Felicity, which I think are very common questions. And please make your comments. Please phone in if you've got questions. She's more than happy to answer them. So Felicity, the first question I'm going to ask you is there a wait period from taking a life insurance to when you can make a claim?
Right. With our company or with the providers that we use, if you've been accepted, that is, your policy is issued or at risk, you are covered. Okay. There's no wait time. Basically, if you take policy today, your policy has been issued, you've been accepted. If you would have died the next day, you'll be paid. Okay, so let me... Some don't pay. There's a wait period. I've seen some from the bank, from the post office. Some of them, you have to wait a year or 2 years to get the payout. To be qualified. Yes, okay. They might refund your premium, but you don't pay out. Or some of the funeral covers advertised on TV. There's that wait period, which is tricky. But our providers do pay once you've been accepted. Not everybody gets accepted immediately, because if you have health condition, they may have to see your GP's report. Okay. Means they have to wait. Okay. We pray you don't die during that period, but when it does happen, we've had a client of ours, of a colleague of mine, took up a policy. A young man, he has a 6-month-old baby with his wife, and one day, 2 weeks after taking up the policy, he was on the phone speaking and began bleeding from the nose and collapsed. And that was it. He was gone. Wow. And usually what our people do here, organize a wake. During the wake or during the funeral, he was carrying the 6-month baby and leaned against my manager and asked him, will they pay, since he just took out his policy? And the manager said, don't worry about it, we'll discuss this later. And they paid out, because like I said, there's no wait period per se with the providers that we use, unless there's some other conditions attached to it. If not, it's immediate. Again, these are some of the questions you should ask any protection advisor that you come across that wants to sell you any of these insurances. So the other question is, are there any insurance one can take if they already had critical illness? I think we'd answer that, and I can answer that myself, isn't it? Yes, we've got the accident cover, we've got the funeral cover. No, just the accident cover. Just the accident cover? Yes, just the accident cover. Okay. The accident cover, actually, I'll give you an example. A woman, again, take up policies before you're ill. In our cultures, in our background, sometimes men think it's only them who need insurance. Okay. The man will say that he is the breadwinner, he has to have the insurance, or they may not want their wives to have insurance. So in this case, this man did want his wife to have this insurance, life insurance. Okay. And then probably a year later, she was diagnosed with cancer, and she's got 3 children. She knew that they wouldn't have money to live on, let alone to bury her.
Okay.
So she then went and took the accident policy because she
okay.
knew it had funeral benefit.
Okay.
And she couldn't get funeral cover or life policy anywhere because it was late. But she took it without the man knowing. You understand? She had to do that in secret, which some people are forced to because the other partner does not quite understand the benefit of putting these things in place. So a few years later, this woman passed away. It was a pastor telling me this story. A pastor I went to present at her church said when this woman passed away, she went to the house to help clear some things up. That's when she saw the brochure and the documents
Oh my God.
of that policy.
Yeah.
And then called them up. She actually called me, said to me, Felicity, how can you help make this claim? Even though the lady wasn't my client, I had to help them process that claim.
Okay.
You understand? So they got some money towards the funeral, which was quite helpful at that stage. And the man was so happy there was money. And he was the one who didn't want her to take up insurance.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's a case where a woman took up insurance, and the man kept bothering her. Why do you need life insurance? You're paying £40 every month. It's a waste of money. He just wouldn't give her peace. And she went and cancelled this insurance. 5 months later, this woman collapsed at work. Being a nurse, you all work so hard. I commend you all for your good work. She collapsed at work, and that was it. She was gone. This man then called up life insurance, the insurance company, to make a claim. And they said to him, she cancelled the policy. This man's like, what? Now he, after begging and borrowing and probably stealing to bury this woman, when it was all done, he called up the insurance company and said, please insure me. Why do we have to leave things for when it's late?
Exactly. I think, and that's a thing we have, isn't it?
I want to actually add this, that when you have insurance, I recommend have 2 separate insurance, because the man should have his own policy if it's not joined to the mortgage, and if it's standalone, the woman should have her own policy. Because what it does, the woman's policy is for the benefit of the man and the children, while the man's policy is for the benefit of the woman and the children.
Yeah.
So where only one has a policy, the other one doesn't, it is so skewed.
Yes.
There's no balance and there's no fairness. And if you really love one another, you really want to be able to provide or make provision for where you're not there, so that other person will not suffer.
Yes.
I urge you all and beg you to please do that.
And then there's a question that said, what age should one be to take up life policy?
Well, in the UK here, from age 18 really, to take up standalone life policy. Although when you have critical illness insurance, your critical illness insurance actually gives free cover to your children under age 18 or to 21 if they have full-time education.
Okay.
But for standalone, it's from age 18.
Okay, all right. And then what about maximum age?
Maximum age depends on the providers. Some maximum age to take up like critical illness, you have to be 64 or 63, something like that. More than that, you couldn't take up critical illness. So it depends on what product you're taking.
So before we go to testimonials, I want to ask you, why does it take up to 6 months to 1 year for insurance companies to pay out when a client dies? We answered that earlier on. And it's to do with what you put in place when you take out the cover as well.
Or what you don't put in place.
Yes, or what you don't put in place. I think that's very important. So last but not the least, give us some examples. Give us some case studies, because I think it's very important. Sometimes when we hear stories that we can relate to, it then kind of the penny drops, isn't it? Especially for our people.
Classic example, a man like how I met you at a function as well.
Yeah.
I must say, that function where I met you, you all were so beautiful. You all were so beautiful. I told you
yes,
a few days ago that I was in awe. Yeah. Everybody was so glamorous, beautiful. I was like hundreds of people there. It was overwhelming. So I met this man at not so big event. It was just few people. It was fine. So we spoke. We arranged to meet. Normally I go see clients at their home, and said to this man, I'm coming to your home. He said, Felicity, don't come to me. He lived out of London. He lived in Kent. He said to me, I'll come to you.
Okay.
I'm thinking, oh wow, this is good. Well, I don't have to travel. He's traveling to meet me.
Yeah.
He said, I come with my wife. I said, fine. We arranged meeting point. So he came. He said to me, Felicity, you know why I decided to meet with you and come to you instead of you coming to me? Because it's important to me. It's for me, not for you to gain. I know you get paid, but this is for me and my family. He said, I'll tell you why. He said 6 months, over a year ago, he begged 2 friends. Okay. One, these are people who earn good money. One did not have any policy in place. He has a mortgage, or he had a mortgage and 3 children and a wife. And being that he earns so much, the wife doesn't work. So when this man was diagnosed with critical illness, trouble started. Soon, within a few months, he was dead. He said to me, Felicity, I was the chief fundraiser. Beg, borrow, whatever, to get money just to bury this man. But after burying him, what then happens to his children and wife and mortgage? They couldn't afford that mortgage. He said, on the contrary, the other friend, who'd also died the same year, had old insurance, said to me, Felicity, when this man was dying, he was never ill. He had a little tummy ache. It turned out he had cancer of the bowel or some sort of form of cancer. Within 5 months, he too was gone. The moment when he was diagnosed with critical illness, he had critical illness insurance linked to the mortgage. The critical illness policy was used to pay off his mortgage.
Wow.
And because he couldn't work, his income protection kicked in. We began to pay him every month. Now, when he died, he had life insurance, the family income benefit we talked about in place. That was then put in place to start paying to his children at 8. The youngest is age 18. He said to me, Felicity, at this man's funeral, there was no tears in the house. Even his children and wife, it was a celebration of his life. Everybody was happy. He said to me, Felicity, I want to be like this man, not like the other one. I don't want my children to hurt, to cry, to feel that they couldn't afford the lifestyle I created for them. His wife was there watching quietly. He said to her, don't worry, I want to provide for you and the children. He said to me, Felicity, give me all you've got. So he had a life policy which I looked at. I said to him, your life policy, what you have there is fine, keep it. Critical illness, income protection, accident policy, he took all. And then his wife as well did the same. He said to me, Felicity, now I'm happy. Whatever happens to me now, I know my children will be sorted financially. So that's a classic example I like to use for people to know that this is what you should be doing. Regardless of how much you earn, you don't have to earn so much. You understand? What you earn is the lifestyle you created that you want your children to keep having if you're not there.
That's true.
So you take up, it's best to have something in place and nothing at all, regardless of how small it is.
Yes.
So take something small that you can afford to pay. If circumstances change, you can increase that. We can take more policy to make up. You understand?
Yeah.
But you must have something in place.
Absolutely.
Fundamental insurance, life policy. If you have the financial dependence on you, then your critical illness insurance, then your accident policy, your income protection if you're self-employed is very crucial. Be crucial for you to have as well.
Yeah.
So these are things that one policy doesn't do all the magic. Different policies does different things. So it's good to have all of them. Instead of having one big one and nothing here, that when you need that one is not there. It's good to have something that goes around. You're covered in all areas. You understand? And also make sure that it's enough to cover and do what you should be doing, basically.
And check in, because I note you said earlier on about some insurance, you have to be careful. Some insurances, for example, a life insurance, are very specific in terms of where you die. So there are some insurances, if you take them, your death should be within the UK. Whilst, like for example, the providers you deal with, it doesn't matter where you die, as long as you've got an insurance.
Global
so
cover.
You can go die in Levuma Soa in Sierra Leone, and as long as they can produce the death certificate and the beneficiaries can produce themselves, or you've got your will or your trust document, then things can kick in, isn't it?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So this is it, my people. Thank you very much, Felicity. This has been very, very informative. And like we said, please take note of Felicity's number. Today we've spoken about different types of insurances and why it's important, and why we should don't be penny wise and pounds foolish. What does that mean? It means don't be focused on protecting the pennies whilst you lose so much more in pounds. And so when you have your life insurance or some of these protection covers, they actually benefit you in the long run. And yes, you might not hopefully need to claim your critical illness cover, but at least it is there just in case. You might be lucky and never have an accident, but at least it is there just in case.
Yeah, but it is best to have it and not need it than to need it
and not have it. You see, that's another one again. Best to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. She's bombarding me today with lots of things, you know. We've got 3 now. So, like we said earlier on, like Felicity said earlier on, people want to get to heaven, but they don't want to die. Now, think about that very strongly. These things are unpredictable. And yes, it might feel like every month you're paying that £40 or £50. You're thinking about it. Every month I pay. I don't pay for the last 10 years. This la put an up for brother and sister in Akrio. For the last 10 years, we just they pay. I don't tell you, I know they pay again. Why? Because that moment you just think, I want to go buy that Brazilian wig, but my money no do. I need this 40. I need £40 extra. Do you allow cancel this insurance? I go sort them out next week. Stop. The Brazilian wig no go bury you. The Brazilian wig no go put food na you picking and table where you don't go. The Brazilian wig no go continue for pay you if you go for that you broke your foot or your back or you get head injury. So let us be wise and be sensible. Let us look after the things that and people that are important and relevant to be looked after. Let us rethink how we deal with things. The other example that Felicity had earlier on, which is so true, he said if you compare a black man, as in us, and a white man, when a white man is in financial distress and they both have a car, the first thing the white man gets rid of is the car. Why? Because it's extra expenses. If you don't have a car, you're protected in terms of your outgoing. Whilst the black man, that's what he's going to protect, that car. That car will not go. He would rather cancel the life insurance premium than for that car to go, because why? He's more worried about what people will say if they see him in a bus than what people will say when he dies and there's no money to do his funeral. So it's very important for us to think about these things. This is non-specific, this is non-selective, this is advice and information for each and every one of us, including myself. Like I said, since I met Felicity last year, November 2019, she was on my case, and I'm glad and I'm grateful and I'm thankful that she was on my case, because she's actually taught me so much. She's actually challenged me so much so that I have actually requested my insurance policy document, because I couldn't find the original one. It's in the post. Hopefully I'll get it soon so that we can sit down and go through it. So it's very, very important we think about these things. Please reach out, please call. It doesn't have to be Felicity, but go somewhere else. Just make sure you ask the right questions and it covers what you're supposed to cover. Thank you so much. Felicity, do you want to say anything?
No, just make sure you take out the right policies, really. I'm here for you, whichever way I can support you. If you have policies, you can still look at it, to make sure it's still adequate or right for you. And then we can advise you on the right things to do based on your needs and what you can afford, really.
Yes. Welcome, Majid. Good to see you this evening, my brother. Ibrahim Vasbi, Mama Oni, Swad Bangura, and all the others who are watching. Auntie Grace, Auntie Harriet, you're watching all the way from Sweden. Enjoy for me. Abibatu, thank you as well. So remember, think about it, listen, look at all of this. Every one of you that has logged on today, ask yourself, do I have a life insurance? Do I have an income protection cover? Do I have a critical illness cover? All of you that have logged in today, you either have children or you have dependents. What would happen to them if you were to die today or tomorrow? What will happen to you if you were to have a critical illness and can no longer go to work? What could happen to you if you fall and broke your leg and you've just started a new job, which means you are not entitled to certain things? Because certain jobs, for example, my job where I work, my employer, you have to have worked with them for at least 2 years for you to have certain length of sick pay. So all those things is worth thinking about. And especially for those who are self-employed. If you're self-employed, income protection should be your bread and butter, should be your priority. Everybody should have a contents insurance. One of the things I learned recently, between my husband and I, we've got at least 3-4 children that we pay mobile phone for. And what were we doing? Each contract had an insurance. Each contract had an insurance. And then I thought to myself, I said, hold on a minute.
It's not cost effective.
It's not cost effective. Why are we paying all when we can just have a contents insurance? You know? And then
we insure the mobiles for being at home as also when you take it away from home.
Yes, you know. So it's just looking at things sensibly and wisely and making sure we do what we're supposed to do. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Felicity, would you come back?
If you want me back, I'll be back.
Yeah! So Felicity will come back. As you know, this is the Put Your House in Order series. Once a month, I do something very important. This time, it's the first time I've actually been able to bring a protection advisor. Usually, I just go as to what I read online and just, you know, scratch the surface of the topic of insurance. But today, we've actually been privileged and lucky to have someone who is an expert, and she's given us very, very poignant and important and relevant advice. So let's take advantage of it. And the next Put Your House in Order will be in April, where we'll probably be looking at things, the legal aspects of putting your house in order, such as a will and legal guardianship, etc., etc. So what's coming up next? Of course, the C World Conference will be next, and that will be a week on Saturday, March the 7th. It will be local in Southeast London. It will be at the City of London Academy, SE1, and that is just at the back of Old Kent Road, Argos, and PC Quarries of Old Kent Road. Lots of buses go there. You can get a bus 1 and 381. You can get a 53, and they'll bring you halfway, and it's literally 5 to 10 minutes walk from there. Or you can get a P12 and a 381 from Peckham area as well. That can take you directly to the school. There's a bus stop called Esmeralda bus stop, and that's literally where the school is. It is going to be all about cancer, but actually there's going to be lots of other things relating to cancer, but not just cancer, that could benefit you. For example, we're going to talk about breast cancer, we're going to talk about prostate cancer, we're going to talk about cervical cancer. We're hopefully going to have a representative, a survivor who's gone through prostate cancer, who will come and share their story, and the same with breast cancer. We're going to have a discussion about nutrition and cancer. You know, there's a lot going on about what you should and shouldn't eat, what you can and cannot eat. We're going to do a bit of myth busting about all these myths about cancer and so on and so forth. We are also going to talk about cancer treatment, specifically like chemotherapy and all of that. We are going to talk about how our traditional and cultural values can sometimes obstruct how our cancer is dealt with. We are also going to talk about our religious faith and how we could use that during difficult and challenging times of ill health. So lots and lots and lots to talk about, to cover. There will be free snacks and drinks, all sponsored by different sponsors, and I'm very grateful because this event is pretty much self-funded by the health show. And we are going to start 12 prompt. So between 12 and 1, it's registration. 1 o'clock, our very abled MC, Sir Alan Smith, and the one and only will start prompt. We're very conscious of time. It is not going to be black man time. It is going to be Greenwich Mean Time. And of course, Felicity is probably going to be there. So again, it gives you an opportunity to meet Felicity face to face, one to one, and talk to her and get a card and take it from there. So thank you very much. Hope to see you. Remember, this will be a health promotion and raising awareness conference. And of course, afterwards, we'll have just light entertainment just to kind of debrief us so that we don't go home feeling all sad and miserable. So have a lovely day and hope the weekend is fun. Keep warm, stay warm, and remember, coronavirus is still around. Take your personal and hand hygiene very seriously and be careful where you go and what you do. Thank you so much, Felicity.
Thank you.
I am so
much.
grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Goodbye.
I am and I will. I am Isatta Sisay-Jalloh from the Health Show Partnership Program. It's World Cancer Day on February the 4th, 2020. So what are we going to do about it? I am a wife, mother, and a sister. I am a nurse with a special interest in cancer and palliative care. And I am a game changer. So join us on Saturday, the 7th of March, for the 2nd Annual Cancer Conference. There will be speakers talking about prostate, breast, and cervical cancer, myth busting, and looking at cancer from a traditional and religious perspective. You would walk away saying, I will get smarter, I will get screened, I will eat healthily, and I will create change. So let's work towards a brighter and healthier future. I am and I will.
a mango. She play the thing like a banjo. Them other girl them don't
The changes continue. The innovations continue. As Female in Sierra Leone, United Kingdom and Ireland branch presents Launching and Remembrance Day on Saturday, 14th March 2020 from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Denmark Hill Community Centre, Blanchtown, London, SE5 8HL. This auspicious event will honor and remember rebel war victims, Ebola victims, victims of flooding, mudslide victims, victims of violence, and victims of knife crime. So, do come and be part of a worthy cause. The Female in Sierra Leone UK Launching and Remembrance Day, Saturday 14th March 2020 from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Denmark Hill Community Centre, Blanchtown, London, SE5 8HL. Female in Sierra Leone, United Kingdom and Ireland branch. Indeed, Sierra Leone will rise again.
Unlimited Leo, the lioness, Sierra Leone's finest.
Young Beat on the beat.
Tell you, then they come like they're not body. You go feel say na loyalty. Then they knock you belly, you know no say. Then they drive up where you are. Then they shumu, then they undermine you. Then they watch you, they reach you are. The world don't bad me fumble them. Some teeth white but the hearty black. Them go put them for make you mass. Where you no walk, then go funky you. Where you no walk na big foot. You know what now which gun. Then go on for kill you, then go on for kill you, then go on for stop you, mama. Say God in need it for me. Say God in grace they cover me. Say I'm a survivor, say I'm a conqueror. You know go able for stop me. Say I'm a survivor, say I'm a conqueror. Tell them say I am unlimited. I call me unlimited. Bayina mase Bineko timo bayin yo kapoti Bineko kumuina Bene baloy Bineko fetina Bene batokoy Mimbe simoko na kanu kinkamegere Kanu masala timo ina Kanu masala timo mina Kanu masala timo yama Salati momina, mimbe boina neka faido, kanu kinka begere, kanu masalati moina, kanu masalati momina, mimbe boina neka faido, kanu kinka. I am unlimited. I call me unlimited. Yeah. I am unlimited. Blessings unlimited, unlimited, mama. Namolu, mama inde namolu, mommy ede laila, uleke like Judy. Ike ina loko for me, ida ina ile affair, kila ko ya nini, mokumba sea. Mukumba sea, Mukumba sea, Mukumba sea.
having credit problems, I feel bad for you, son. 1,000 problems, but a car rank 1. Wheels for sure, got me back in the car. Leasing with my credit, I was like, man, forget it. Who would've thought I'd be accepted and more? But now I got the keys, I feel so pleased. All types of cars, Fiats, Minis, Renaults, you know. Boom, boom, let's go. Wheels for sure, car leasing for every credit score.